Blessed be, fellow D&D lovers, and welcome to episode 22 of Holy Rollerz, a 4th edition D&D clerical campaign where each of the characters can channel divinity and all other kinds of bodily functions and emotions as well, depending on the situation. So we are here with episode 22 called That Old Black Magic, and we are very excited to be with you. We are actually only 7, actually now it's 6. We are 6 subscribers away from a beautiful Dice Vault giveaway by John Gaiton. All you have to do, if you would like to get us to that 50 subscribers, is subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sage of Sorcery Productions. You type in Sage of Sorcery, all one word, and then Productions. It will lead you straight there. So we would be happy. He'll customize it for you. It doesn't have to have the Holy Rollerz logo on it. We also have another partnership with him where if you use the word Holy Rollerz with a Z instead of an S, you get a 10% discount on John Gaiton's JBG Garage Crafts, which is a wonderful online store where you can purchase all kinds of glorious things. So we would love it if you would help us to get there. And that would be exciting for us. Also, we'd love it if you'd subscribe also to our subreddit. It's Holy Rollerz D&D. That's our subreddit. And we have a commentator, Poinketh, who we love, who reviews every episode for us.
What's up, Poink?
How you doing, Poink? And how you doing, Leah? How you doing, all of those who watch regularly? What's up? What's up, Aaron? How everybody? And we would also like to extend a very warm welcome to our special guest star this evening, Scarlet Moth. She is an award-winning cosplayer and a cast member on Encounter Roleplay, and very soon to be a dungeon master on her own stream. Is that correct, Moth?
Yes, that's very correct. I'm going to be starting up a Planescape game with some other Australians, and I'm very excited.
That's fantastic. We will be excited, and we will be happy to mention your new stream coming up here. So that will be fantastic. Alrighty, we will jump into a brief recap and then we'll get started. Last time on Holy Rollerz, the party attacked the Mashant estate, the compound of a wealthy teamster who turned his home into a breeding ground for redcaps. At the beginning of the combat, Anduriel was knocked unconscious by a mighty blow from the club of the enormous giant-blooded butler, who then hovered over the vampire cleric and began to play with him. Lachlan, Morocon, and Gizik let him, since they were being slowly but surely gunned down by the redcaps with crossbows, who fired from the windows of the estate that they broke. As they battled, the clerics called to the crowd of townspeople to assist them, and gradually several townspeople came forward to enter the battle, including a rotund mother wielding a broom, an older bearded gentleman sporting a shovel, and a pubescent pimply teenager who picked up a club from the estate grounds. After the clerics broke into the estate interior, the townspeople rallied and stormed the building, mobbing the giant butler, the redcaps, and the young fop in the Elizabethan pumpkin hat, who called for his daddy and grabbed the door for emotional support. And so that is where we left off, gentlemen. However, this week we will be beginning with our guest star's character, Aelin. Are you ready to go here, Aelin?
I am ready. Yes.
Fantabulous. All right. Aelin, you have been summoned to Vana's temple. The Twilight Grove is a darkly beautiful outdoor temple nestled among a grove outside the city of New Tarsa, where you make your home. Where the wood ends and the temple begins is marked by patches of elderberry trees, purple plum, and dark maples that disrupt the green of the pine woods like a patch of night that descended on the woods and refused to leave. Marking each dedicated area of the temple grounds are a series of standing stones, carved with wards and runes, and hollowed out on the sides to house books, reagents, and magical items. Quiet and mystery hang over the Twilight Grove like Vana's dark cloak of magic itself, and the very ground seems to hum with magical energy. You have been asked to meet the Dark Mother in Midnight Hall, a clearing in the grove so dark that you can actually use it to cross into the Shadowfell. So, anything special that Aelin would like to do before she prepares to meet Dark Mother Magra?
I suppose Aelin would be preparing herself and putting on her cloak, making sure that her cloaked dagger is by her side, as it always is, and steeling herself for what the Dark Mother will ask of her.
Okay. You know a few things about Dark Mother Magra. You've had very few interactions with her because she is not only the High Priestess of the Coven of Twilight, but she is also the head of the faith of the church, the entire Church of Vana. And so she is a very important woman. You know, you've heard several things about her. Supposedly, she's hundreds of years old. She's forgotten more about magic than most people have ever learned. And she is Vana's voice on the world of Ienia. The phrase that is frequently used in the Coven of Twilight is "no magic is beyond her grasp." And so she is a bit of an intimidating figure. As you approach Midnight Hall, that clearing in the grove that is that dark, a sneeze echoes throughout the...
Sorry, I couldn't mute it in time.
Okay. We're off to a lovely start. Aelin, do you sneeze? No. Okay, so moving on.
She says,
right.
"Bless you." No.
Yeah. All right, you find Dark Mother Magra alone in the Midnight Hall. She is standing in a ring of moonlight before a waist-high stone font of dark water, and she's staring into it. She seems completely unaware of your presence as you approach. What do you do?
Aelin will step forward towards the edge of this pool of water and just kneel.
Okay.
And
go ahead. Anything else?
Dark Mother, you summoned me here.
She doesn't look up from the pool as she gazes into it for a moment, and she oddly just twirls her finger through her hair, and you get kind of a good look at her while you wait for her to respond. She's a middle-aged woman with shoulder-length salt and pepper hair framed by an obsidian tiara that's cut like a gem. She wears an elegant floor-length shimmering gown that is so black it seems to swallow the moonlight around it, dimming the whole area. She's a trim figure, and she wears a light cape of silver and black thread, bare feet, bare hands. And finally, she looks up after a minute and she says, "Good twilight, Caster Aelin. Why are you here?"
I was summoned by you for the purpose of which I do not know yet. The will of Vana is shrouded in shadow.
She looks at you and she smiles, kind of a crooked smile, like Kitiara from the Dragonlance Chronicles. And she says, "Do you always come when others call, even your sisters? Can't you make up your own mind?"
Well, I can, but with someone so beautiful and so intimidating and so powerful, I thought maybe it would be best to heed my own conscience and come.
All right, she looks at you and she smiles a wide, pearly white, toothy smile. And then she tosses her head back and just gives a throaty laugh and looks up at you and she says, "Wisdom indeed, to respect and heed the commands of one who can turn you into a toad with a few words." And she says, "Tell me, Caster Aelin, what is your opinion on the magic of the Hells? Do you know how Hellfire is created?" And now let's find out if Aelin does know how Hellfire is created. Let's make an Arcana check, please, for us. You may have advantage, what we call greater advantage in 4th edition, so you can roll twice and take the higher roll.
Okay, so one of those was a 1, so we'll not use that one.
Okay.
So I think we'll go with the 13 for a 22.
Okay. So with a 13, all you know is that Hellfire has a source in pain.
You got a 22.
You did?
Yes, it was with a 13 plus 9.
Oh, excuse me. Okay,
Yeah.
so you know more than that. So you know that Hellfire is created by devils, particularly Asmodeus, torturing the souls of the damned. The torturing of a soul produces Hellfire as a byproduct. And so she asks you, do you know how it's created?
Source comes from the King of the Hells, and its source is from pain and his torture of souls and of the damned.
All right. She nods approvingly at you, and she says, "Very good, Caster Aelin. And what is your opinion on the magic of the Hells?"
Well, I would say it is an antithesis to all that Vorna holds dear, but at the same time, I would be remiss not to be somewhat ingratiated to it, given my condition, I suppose.
All right. She smiles at you again, and she says, "Remember, Caster Aelin, all magic has a purpose. The darkest spells must be employed at sundry times. However," she says, "what is your opinion on the fall of Valoria? Should we be concerned?" So the fall of Valoria was a city in the center of the Ienia that was basically destroyed by an army of demons and devils. And so she asks you, given that all magic has a purpose, even hell magic, what is your opinion on the fall of that city? Should we be concerned?
We should be concerned when one magic tips the balance in favor of itself in opposition to all others. Dark magic and light magic, it's all the same, it all has its purpose, but all must be in balance.
All right, she smiles at you and says, "You show wisdom, Aelin, which is why I have summoned you. These are questions that you'll need to grapple with. I'm sending you to the Adari Republic, specifically to the town of Winter Run. The Night Lord who rules over the city, Descartes Gable, has been holed up in his castle for months while his city goes to wreck and ruin. The castle is giving off tremendous mystical energy. The aura simply reeks of hell magic." And she says, "There's another matter also. I've recently heard rumors that Castle Winterguard might be the resting place for the spellbook of the witch Elspeth. Elspeth was a spiteful, malicious hag, and the Knights of St. Bethsania slew her recently. She was also a member of the Coven of the Witch of Alderac." And she pauses to kind of let that sink in.
Now that is concerning. I would prefer that not fall into the wrong hands.
She looks at you and says, "Supposedly, tucked within Elspeth's spellbook are pages from her mistress's own Book of Shadows. Just holding those pages enhances a wielder of magic's power." And she says, "Look into the pool." And she lifts her hands over the pool and chants a brief scrying incantation. And you look into a stone chamber that is quite clearly possessed by an arcanist. You can see in the room as you enter, there is a teleportation circle in the very center of the room. You can see that there is a fine carpet woven of expensive material. There is a table, a laboratory table with chemicals all over it, and alchemical items. There's a big, thick chest in the corner, a lectern with a spell book on it, or some kind of magical tome on it. And there are shelves. I mean, there's Eye of Newt, Bat. I mean, just all kinds of things that you would expect. Calcified yak urine. I mean, everything that you would find. So you identify a lot of these items. And she looks into the pool and she says, "The tower of their court magician, a middling practitioner at best. He's only a wizard." And she looks and she says, "I'm sending you in there. I think it's the easiest point of entry, and you need to be prepared to do some investigating. Are you ready? Have you prepared yourself?"
I have steeled myself for what is to come. Though I must ask, what would you have me do with this spellbook?
She says, "That's up to you. That's entirely up to you. Use your own wisdom. As you know, the goddess does not command us in all things, and misfortune falls as easily as does good luck. And therefore, I trust in the wisdom that you would have. I mean, I wouldn't give it to the kitchen maid, but use your own judgment."
Well, I won't leave it in the hands of a wizard. Wizards are, well, wizards.
She smiles at that again, and she says, "Very good." And she says, "Back away from the scrying font, if you would, please." And then she lifts up her hands and she looks at you. And as she kind of enters in and begins casting the linked portal ritual, you find yourself wondering how she knows the runes necessary to get into his teleportation circle. You're wondering, like, how long has she been scrying, or watching? But you're not too surprised that she sussed it out, right? So she begins chanting, and as you have experienced before in the Coven of Twilight, shadows begin to rise up from the floor and surround you and swallow you. And you are expecting any minute for the shadows to fall down around you and be in a different location. And you're expecting to rise up off the floor and feel weightless for a moment, but that doesn't happen, and the shadows just scatter, and you're right back where you started. And she looks over at the scrying font, and she looks back at you, and she goes, "What did you do?"
It was not me.
And she looks over at the scrying font again, and she leans over, puts her hands on it, and goes, "Well, why, you impertinent little bookberry, wizard-born, blighted son of a chit! He sealed his teleportation circle. How enterprising. Well, we're just going to have to get more creative. Hemina's clerics like to think they've cornered the market on light travel, but the moon has always been a witch's sister kin. You will travel by her light and a little wild magic. Brace yourself. I think you'll live through this. Gotta speed your journey, or slow it, as she deems." And she starts casting again, and this time when she starts casting, you feel not only the spectrum of magic move around you, but you feel a vibration coming from her. And then you look at your body, and you look at your hands, and you become insubstantial all of a sudden. And then you are launched into the night sky. And there is a dizzy blurring of lights, much like Star Wars when you go to light speed as light moves around you. And we will pick you up in a minute, Aelin. Alrighty, now.
Hopefully not splattered on the flagstone.
What she
Yes, that's how we treat our guest stars. Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and you had a good 15 minutes. We hope you enjoyed. No, that's okay. So, clerics, other clerics, my friends. So the party, you have recently managed to score a great victory at the Mashant estate, and you find yourselves back at the estate of Lysinopril, the resident wizard illusionist, sitting there, and she has she has her cigarette holder out, and she's puffing on it, and you guys are just about ready. She tells you that she is going to get you into Castle Winterrun, and that she feels, based on the divinations that she's done, that time is of the essence. So you find it's evening. You actually scooted out of there at her request before the Just Blades could come and inspect what you had done. So you were kind of just contented in that moment to let the slaying of the Redcaps be disseminated among the people, kind of let them spread through gossip and whatnot. So you find yourself back at the estate, and she blows a big old ring of smoke in the air, and you're kind of used to it at this point, and you're upstairs in her spellcasting chamber, and she says, "Are you ready?"
I'm back. I'm with the crew now.
You are, Anduriel. Anduriel, when
I
you
don't know if I was still over by the bushes with the butler looming over me.
No.
You can be if you want.
Yeah. No, Anduriel, if you would like to go back and visit with the butler some,
No.
That's entirely up to you.
I think he finished with you.
Yeah. I don't think he actually had the chance to.
Remember, rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3, I took it.
Okay. A round is only 6 seconds long, so he only had, about 36 seconds. Okay. Although a lot can happen in a minute. So anyway, moving on. So he, Anduriel, you have a slight headache perhaps, but you've had an extended rest, so everything is good to go. Yeah. So it's late night, and she tells you she's going to fly you in to the tower where she knows there's easy access. There's a hatch on the top of the tower. She's going to fly you in on a bunch of giant birds that she's going to summon, and she is going to render you invisible while you do so. So she'll have to travel with you in order to do that, but she looks at you and she says, "Now, mind you, I'm not staying. Not for a minute. But she says, "You're on your own once you get into the castle, but I can land you safely and find entrance. Do you have any questions?"
No, this is what we've come for. Let's be about it.
You had mentioned something about disguises before. Are we going to be in disguise at all? Or...
Okay. She looks at you and she says, "I can't disguise you and keep you invisible at the same time, dear. I'm not a miracle worker."
In fairness, good lady, if I looked as the dragon did, I'd want to be invisible and disguised as well.
Not that I don't have any confidence in you, but my compadre Andoriel does have a point. I am worried the invisibility will wear off.
All right. She looks at you and she says, "Oh, it is going to wear off once I leave, but no one will see you enter."
Very well.
All right. All right. She takes you up to the top of her estate to a window, and she says, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy flight."
Nice.
And she steps out to the window.
It was either that or hold on to your butts.
Yeah, well, hold on.
The emergency exits are here and here.
Okay. All right. So she summons up these gigantic looking swans, right? These just absolutely gigantic swans, great big long graceful necks, and they're all kind of hovering outside the windows. She gets on the first swan and flies out a bit, and another one comes up to the window.
No, Frodo, I don't think the eagles are coming.
No, you don't get the eagles. Lysinopro was a stage magician, remember?
Anduriel will go next. Oh, the bard's gonna go next.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Okay.
He elbows Anduriel out of the way.
Bro punches him in.
Anduriel Lachlan rushes forward like, "I want to ride the pretty swan."
The impetuousness of youth. That's
All right. So you all progressively mount on, and she gets on, and she stops and waits until the rest of you are kind of on. The swans are hovering. Great big beating gusts of wings. Definitely would attract a lot of attention. And then she says, "Hold on tightly. Axo, honor thee, aste." And she goes through this big old chant, and there's a burst of magic, and then all of you are invisible. And not only are you invisible, but all sound has disappeared also from the beating of the swan's wings.
Can we see ourselves, or is it like...
You can't see yourselves, and you can't see the swans anymore either.
Perfect. Just
Okay.
like a weekend.
Okay. So each one of you grabs onto one of the swan's necks, and they take off, and it's a little disconcerting because you're just looking over empty air. I would like each one of you, if you would please, to make an endurance check to see if you don't scream. You're gonna need at least a DC 14.
16.
Just,
Can I scream if I want to?
Of course you can.
In excitement.
Raise his arms.
Woohoo!
Do I get any boosters if I roll a 12?
You get half your level, and you get your Constitution modifier if you have one.
Well, cool. Then I made it.
Okay, Gizik?
Well, I rolled a 5. I guess that means I'm screaming. But since everything's silenced, you can't hear me, so...
No, I said the
We're
beat
good.
of the wings.
Oh,
is
it's just the swan, not everything?
Yeah, you
All right,
guys
fine.
aren't.
I am screaming.
Okay. So the swans take off, and what does it sound like, Gizik?
Oh,
A moose call?
Is it something along the lines of...
probably, yeah. I'm imagining, the sound that your cat makes when you step on it.
Oh.
All right, awesome. All right, so Anduriel, you look back and you're kind of in the lead. Lachlan is screaming in front of you. You can't tell. I mean, he's making roller coaster sounds. You don't hear Morokhan behind you, but you do hear Gizik like. You begin to be dubious of the fact that you might maintain stealth once you get there.
And once again, even invisible, Anduriel rolls his eyes and asks, Naylock, are you absolutely sure these are the one?
Okay. So you all light down on top of a tower in Castle Winterguard. You can see from the bird's eye view that you get that the illusory fire that Lysinopril had cast is obviously gone out. But it's really interesting getting that bird's eye view and looking down and seeing how empty the streets are in a trading hub like Winterrun. And it's just kind of a reminder to you of the state of things. But in any case, you go ahead and light down onto the top of a tower. There's a heavy wooden hatch. Shortly after you land, Lysinopril is obviously gone from your sight anyway, but the swans themselves dissolve into just like glowing dust, and the dust itself dissipates after a moment. And there you are left on top of the tower over this wooden hatch.
Still invisible?
Nope. You will all become shortly thereafter visible to one another again.
Is Gizik still screaming?
I don't know. Let me see.
Roll for an effective scream.
At this point, having landed, it is entirely up to Jeff whether Gizik is still screaming.
I think I rolled poorly enough that, I tried to scream again, but I'm hoarse and it's just not coming out.
Okay. Okay. Poor Gizik has screamed himself hoarse. Alrighty. There you stand at the top of that tower and over a large wooden panel or door a trap door that you could lift.
I want to detect magic.
You want to detect magic? Okay, go ahead. Make an Arcana check.
I got 19.
Okay, Lachlan, you are picking up a very strong aura of magic below you, and you are picking up a very strong it's over loading your senses. There are so many different auras there. There's transformation, there's evocation, abjuration, there's fire magic, there's pest control magic, unseen servants, there's hair dyeing magic. I mean, there's just all these different auras. You're completely overwhelmed by them. Basically, there's magic below you, like mucho.
But on the door itself?
On the door itself, you're not necessarily detecting, but you can make a perception check. You want to look for like runes or an enchantment of some kind.
Ooh, that's a 24.
Okay. You actually see no enchantment whatsoever on the door.
Morokhan's going to jump in. Well, what are we waiting for? I'm going to move to smash the door through.
Okay.
How about some subtlety? There's a handle, probably.
What are those?
There is a ring that you can pull, an iron ring that you can pull the hatch up. So Morokhan's like, and Lachlan's like, whoa!
So no, it sounds like Orokan has a handle on the situation.
Uh-huh.
All right,
I will try the handle.
Okay, Lachlan, it's pretty heavy. What's your strength?
10.
Okay, Lachlan, you're like, here, try the handle. Like,
A little help here.
Oh, good grief. Anduriel comes over and opens the door. Do I need to roll anything? I've got
you need to make a strength check.
Okay, it's a +3. That's a 24.
Okay.
Or no, that's a 23. Sorry.
Okay, half your level and your strength modifier, right?
Then it is a 24. I only did my modifier.
All right, Anduriel looks over at you, and Lachlan, embarrassingly, he just goes, and pulls the hatch up. Do you look at him, Anduriel, or say anything, or do you just?
No, he's kind of running out of patience. He's just like, let's get in here. Let's do this. I don't need this.
Lachlan just flicks his hair, and he's like, "Thanks." I could do that if I was a vampire too, and then I'm gonna jump in.
Okay. All right. So you could jump down. However, there is a set of stairs. We are now on the tower entrance map right here, and you can leap down if you want to. However, over here, there are 2 squares of stairs right there on the map. Okay. So you come down to a kind of a hodgepodge of different kind of, sites, and it's a little bit visually overwhelming, Lachlan. You see a lot of different areas. To the left of you is an alchemical table. There are a few chemicals on there that are bubbling and burning. To the right of you is a cabinet that is full of reagents, and there are cages on it with some animals in the cages. There are some pigeons in there, and some lizards, and rats, and other small kind of rodents, and there's a chicken also on there. So in those little cages to the right, across the tower, or the base of the tower, there's a summoning circle in the very center, an ornate teleportation circle or summoning circle, could be used for either purpose. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rug to the left. Looks like it's been hand woven with stars and different arcane symbols on it. And to the left is a very familiar looking mirror that you have seen before. You recognize the same kind of gilded mirror that you saw previously in both the Chapel of Bestera and in the cemetery mausoleum, with specific runes etched on it. Across the way, there is a large bookshelf that goes all the way to the ceiling of the chamber. And there's an easy chair, or a sitting chair, a locked cabinet to the right, and you see a chest in the upper right corner. So there's a lot going on. So does everyone enter, or?
So it's like
yeah.
all you can eat buffet for Gizik with some fancy furniture.
Yes.
That's what we're looking at. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to enter as well.
Okay. All right. So a very interesting thing happens as you all enter. I would like you to tell me where you're headed.
Or the chest.
I'd like to look at the reagents.
All right.
I'm going to step toward the rug. It looks pretty.
Okay. Anduriel?
It looks like a rune circle.
And Duriel's just going to kind of go to the center of the room to take it all in.
Okay. All right. So here is what happens. You guys are barely into the room. You barely walk into the room. You're barely there for any length of time. And there is a sucking sound, like the air is all getting swallowed in to a vacuum. And then from the hatch that you have open, moonlight streams into the chamber, but it scatters in the wrong direction. It comes in and it bends, and it looks weird, and you're looking around and like something's going on. You can't tell quite what's going on. And then a figure materializes in the room, and it's a vaguely humanoid figure. And that figure is kind of like circling in the fractured light, and like the light shines on one area and the figure comes in, and then it scatters again and shines on another area. And it ends up moving around to the point where it's like a flashlight being turned on and off. And you guys are ducking and looking around and a little bit. Anduriel, it launches into you with a violent impact, dropping you into square 14F.
Right on the rug?
Right on the rug. Anduriel, you slam into the mirror, and this force lands on top of you. And as you slam into the mirror, you grab a portion of cloth that was hanging over it, and you pull the cloth off of the partially concealed mirror, and it lands kind of on top of you. Okay. And then the moonlight stops, and the chamber falls silent. Aelin, you find yourself on top of Anduriel, squishing him, wrapped up in the cloth that was covering the mirror.
And Marvin Gaye starts playing.
No, Marvin Gaye does not start playing.
Well, it's better than the Massive Butler. I'm actually feeling okay right about now.
Well, you can't really see what's going on. So,
Oh yeah, I'm out of it.
well, no, you're not out of it. I mean, it knocked
Just
the
knocked
wind out of you.
You're just draped in a cloth. You're just completely covered.
Yeah.
Got it.
The two of you, all you can see, it looks like two people wrestling under a blanket or something. Aelin, what do you do?
Just gonna try and scramble out of this blanket and just is spluttering.
Okay. All right. Would you describe what Aelin looks like to everyone as she emerges from the blanket or the covering?
So as this figure emerges from this shroud, you just see it's a very slender figure with jet black hair, and it's not normal colored skin. It looks like a pale lilac, almost blue, kind of the colors that you get just before the sun goes down over the hills. And from her head is sprouting horns, and her eyes are jet black, so she is a tiefling.
And
Because I always play tieflings and I have a brand to maintain.
Well done.
That's a good enough reason.
yes.
Out of curiosity, does Morrigan recognize anything that just happened?
What do you mean by? Do you recognize the flying girl who knocked Anduriel over?
No. Do I recognize the magic that was used to bounce around the room before she finally came to a stop?
You can make a knowledge religion check to see if you're familiar with this kind of light travel.
Okay. Ooh. Natural 20, so 26.
Okay. You are familiar. You've heard stories of people kind of commandeering the moonlight and riding it like by force. And you suspect that is exactly what has happened here. Someone who does not have dominion or natural power over the moonlight, like a druid or a cleric of Hemina, has commandeered the moonlight in order to travel. And you also suspect, Morrigan, that wild magic was employed in order to access it.
Okay. Anduriel is also scrabbling to get out of the blanket. He's not a huge
He's going
fan
to-
of it. So he
He's
sort of
going to
scrambles and
take the cloth off of him to see what she landed on.
Okay.
and he's sputtering. I swear, ogre, you are the most clumsy. Oh.
Okay.
Is she pretty?
What is
Is she
Anduriel
pretty?
pretty or Aelin?
Of course I am.
Is Aelin pretty?
Very pretty.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay. Aelin, you find yourself face to face with a rather pale, gothic-looking, tragically emo, and yet gorgeous specimen of manhood. I mean, he is ridiculously good-looking.
But I don't sparkle.
He does shimmer.
She's going to drop the cloth back over him. Well, I was not expecting to find Lord Byron here.
Does she really drop the cloth back over him?
Yes.
Perfect.
Hey, Anduriel, you are standing there with a cloth, like over your head.
I look like a Charlie Brown character in a Halloween cartoon.
Lachlan steps forward and bows and says, "How do you do?"
Okay, Aelin, you catch sight of Lachlan, and he is almost as good looking as Anduriel is, but he is very, very much made up. In fact, you think he might even have some eyeliner on, like he has like touches of makeup, and his hair is like gelled with some kind of special jellyfish gel. I mean, who knows? It's definitely artificial beauty, but he looks really good.
She's just going to look around the room and see who else is there. She wasn't expecting company.
And so you see a monstrously large dragonborn with beautiful golden scales. And can you describe what he's wearing, Ben?
So he's bare chested, bare arms. He's got an emblem of Hamina branded on his chest. He has he's wearing just really really baggy, loose pants or a skirt. You can't really quite tell, but because there's a lot of cloth there, with a really wide belt holding everything up.
Okay. And in addition to a monstrously large and rather muscular dragonborn, you see someone who just looks monstrous. And you recognize instantly, Aelin, that he is the spawn of a hag. You've seen hag spawn numerous times in the Coven of Twilight, and you recognize him immediately. He also seems like he might have some giant blood to you.
Well, this is interesting. I wasn't expecting to be greeted by a circus troupe, but
Okay. All right.
And who might you be? You don't bear the signs of a moon priestess.
oh, where are my manners? Aelin, at your service. I suppose you could say priestess, more caster and cleric of Her Ladyship Vorna.
Okay, I would like all of you to make a knowledge arcana check. Or knowledge religion check. You only need a 10. Morokhan, you can roll twice.
10.
23.
9.
Do I add it all together, or do I just take the higher of the two rolls?
You take the higher of the two 1d20 rolls.
Okay, 22.
Okay, you all identify quite easily or remember Vana is the twin sister of the goddess Vahara, who Kaelin worshipped. Vahara is the goddess of good magic and wizardry. Vana is the goddess of witchcraft and black magic, wild magic, and misfortune. Morokhan, there are two temples that dominate the city of New Tarso, where you come from. One of them is the Citadel of Perpetual Light, where you serve, and the other is the Twilight Grove, where Aelin comes from. So you recognize immediately she's kind of, in a way, a rival priestess. Also, if she is a priestess of Vana, they are known for kind of having trouble and misfortune follow them wherever they go. They are just as likely to save the necromancer who's raising skeletons from the town cemetery as they are the poor, beleaguered wizard who's being hunted by a misunderstanding mob.
I will take an ever so careful and ever so slightly, as politely as I can, step back away.
Okay.
I don't want an anvil falling on me.
This one is learned, I suppose.
And Duriel's gonna take the sheet off of him, like he's just standing straight. He's gonna pull it off and say, "It is fantastic to meet you. Now you may take your leave."
And on whose authority is that? Vampire?
No authority necessary. We just have enough excess baggage as it is.
Well, don't slow me down and I won't be baggage.
Fair enough. Goodbye.
Now you should tell me, what exactly are you doing in this keep? Tell me, or I might have to, I don't know, kill you.
To be fair, we were here first, so...
That's the comeback. We're here first.
So,
No,
Lachlan, pay no attention to our vampire friend. He's this friendly with just about everybody.
So he's all bark and no bite then?
Oh no,
Thanks.
he's bites.
Oh,
There's
no, he
bites.
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
But he does bark at everybody.
But no, we are. I have to assume if you're a priestess that there's some the gods are working in concert against the faith of man that has infested this town. We're here to put a stop to them. Is that why you're here?
Let's have her make a knowledge history check. Aelin, make a knowledge history check. Let's see if you've heard of the faith of man. You need at least a 17.
That's going to be a 19.
Okay,
Nice.
so you, Aelin, have heard of the faith of man, spoken of with just absolute derision in the Coven of Twilight. It's an organization of casters who can heal that do not have divine power. So druids, witches, bards, those who can heal. And their purpose is to end people's reliance or faith in the gods. They preach that the gods are really just vanity run amok and power. And they also teach that people need to gain their independence from the gods if man is to achieve, or mankind, or peoplekind, to achieve its maximum potential. The gods are useless, and the Coven of Twilight just sneers at the faith of man. So to hear that they're active in the city, how does Aelin react to that?
She laughs. The faith of man. Truly, you see them as a threat.
Well, we've disposed of quite a few of them, but they've infested. The infestation is pretty deep.
Oh, infestation does seem like the correct term. Or maybe a festering wound. Do you know what we do to festering wounds?
You burn them?
Is it?
But burning them is definitely one option.
There's an embassy in
heal
town.
them?
We could burn that.
We cut them out and remove the part which is infected.
And then do a nice cover. Take, cover up there.
And then Lachlan kisses the boo-boo.
Maybe I took this a bit too far, this metaphor.
All right.
She's going to take a step towards Gizik.
Okay. Gizik, she begins approaching you. What do you do? Is it something along the lines of or I mean, what is what do you do as she approaches, Gizik?
I'm a little bit nervous. I take kind of a quarter step back. So I don't really move, but I kind of retreat just a little bit.
Okay.
I will say that Anduriel draws the Leviathan's tooth and takes a step towards Gizik as well.
Okay.
I'm just going to shut my door really quickly.
Oh, sure, no problem. Okay. I'm going to assume that the barking was not from Gizik, unless...
His would be much more robust. Roof.
I don't know. Based on how he was bellowing when he was on the swan, I'm not sure. But okay, so he takes a step back, and Anduriel takes a step forward. Aelin, you notice something as Anduriel takes a step forward, and that is that he is holding a dagger that is giving off a powerful enchantment. It looks like it's been carved out of coral of some kind, perhaps, and it's got a twisted point, and it's giving off a really strong aura of magic. If you want to make an Arcana check, then I can tell you a little bit more.
In the mind link, I want to telepathic. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's a 16, but also go ahead.
Okay. You sense a powerful variation on summoning magic coming from that dagger. It will bring something to bear from somewhere else. Lachlan, you were going to say?
I want to telepathically say to Anduriel, say, easy there with the whole drawing a weapon. Says, can't you see this is another step towards the larger good. She's an ally. I'm this is only to Anduriel. She's an ally. At least we don't want to make an enemy of someone who could jinx you, and turn you into a woman or something.
He just responds, "Listen, Bard, I know that you've just now, or very recently, gotten rid of the spots on your face. But we need to think with our brains in this situation, and not whenever some pretty creature brings herself towards us and says, 'Oh, she must be our ally.' We don't know that. She's a threat." And
You said the same about Morikon.
and look at what happened. He's horrible. He's the worst.
Does Morokon hear this, Lachlan, or is it just?
Oh no, just Anduriel.
Okay, but he'll, but you know, you're right. My blood is up for some reason, and so he kind of
Maybe
Anduriel-
you're not thinking with your brain either.
Anduriel eases back and lowers the dagger.
Okay.
Stay your weapon. I have no qualms with your kind. You are persecuted, somewhat unnecessarily, partially. But you, what is your name, son of Hag?
Oh, I'm Gizik.
Gorge. Yuck.
Okay.
He's looking at the ground, is twirling his foot.
Gizik. Annalise, you'll have to forgive us. I'm sure you can tell we're unused to having a feminine presence here. It is very welcome, and we're very much enjoying it.
But she's engaging in dialogue. We're just supposed to be smashing things now, right?
Yeah, you can tell these gentlemen are not quite as adept at the subtle art of conversation as you're used to in the coven.
I suppose we can work on that. This vampire folk has promise, if he would say his tongue some of the time. But Gizik, you're half hag, correct? Or hag-blooded?
Yes. My mother Elspeth was a hag.
Elspeth?
Elspeth.
Ah.
Okay, are you trying to hide what you know, Aelin, or are you pretty much being open about recognizing the name?
She's being open about recognizing the name, but she's trying to be a bit coy about it.
Okay, so she seems to know your mother's name, Gizik.
Okay. So you know her then.
It's like, oh, mum was a socialite.
Yeah.
Always went out to trivia on Thursday nights.
We didn't get out much. I'm surprised you know her.
Oh, well, she's not exactly a... She was quite well known in some of my circles. This is quite a coincidence. Now, why exactly were you in the tower?
Oh, we're here on a rescue mission. We want to find Hope Master on Dante. And
Oh, well,
maybe
that's
fix the
boring.
town.
That's boring. I can show you there's some far more interesting things in here than townspeople.
Is that an invitation?
Is she flirting with Gizik?
She must recognize the power. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's an invitation to stay your tongue, Bard, or I'll cut it out myself.
Oh.
Never mind, I do like her.
Okay. Long about as this kind of standoff continues forward and the banter goes, those of you who are trained in knowledge arcana, which would include, I believe, Gizik and Aelin and Lachlan, correct?
Yeah.
You begin to pick up a disruption to the magical energies that are kind of flowing or operating inside this chamber. I would like everybody to make a knowledge arcana check to see if they can identify what's going on.
Roll the 1. So
A
21.
And I rolled an 8.
Okay. Aelin, what'd you get?
21.
21.
Ah,
Okay. Lachlan?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. And Gizik?
37.
Okay. So, Anduriel, Morocon, and Gizik,
I need to get
You
new
are-
dice.
you are reasonably sure that the chicken in the cage is a reagent of some kind for creating magical cheese, and he might be in the process of doing so.
Ooh,
Um,
yum.
Lachlan, you and Aelin pick up on the fact that wild magic is disrupting some of the magical auras around you, and it begins to take effect. Aelin, you are very familiar with this particular effect because you command the power of wild magic yourself. So, Aelin, you pick up the fact that something has disrupted the spectrum, which is the source of magic on Ienia, in a way that is destabilized it. For a minute there, Aelin, you think that maybe it was your entrance, but then you realize it's hell magic. The presence of hell magic has disrupted the enchantments that are latent inside of this room, and a bit of misfortune begins to take place. So, Anduriel, you trip and fall backwards, and like touch the mirror, and the mirror begins to glow at the same time as Morocon. Anduriel's stumble like unnerves you. You stumble backwards and slam into the wall, and it takes. You're still standing, but your head goes back like this, and it like whiplash, and you accidentally breathe out a little burst of fire that sets the curtains on fire. So the curtains they go up in like glorious flames along the wall. Lachlan, your pants fall down, and and Lachlan, your pants fall down, and you go blind briefly, and and you look out, you're like rubbing your eyes, like what's going on, and Gizik, your claws actually lengthen to the point where they're tapping on the floor,
Ooh, I like this.
like tapping on the floor.
It's like excited puppy feet. It's just like,
Yeah. All right. All of this happens at once. The curtain goes up in flames. Morocon, you look up. You've set the curtains on fire behind you, right behind that lectern in the upper left-hand corner of the chamber. Anduriel,
Right.
you get up, and a mirror image of Anduriel crawls out of the mirror.
Oh, poop.
well, look at what you've done now.
We'll just have to
Anduriel-
kill them both to be safe.
I like
And-
this.
Okay, Anduriel, you find yourself face to face with you, and your mirror image smiles at you and goes running past you straight at Morocon.
Okay. Make out.
Yeah, it's a hottie off. Okay.
If it was Lachlan, maybe he would, but
Is this like Top Gun 2 or something? I don't know.
Okay. So he
Next top
launches past you towards Morocon with his fangs bared, and now, my friends, it is time to roll for initiative.
Ooh.
So, are we starting off like with a disadvantage? Like, are we stunned or anything? Or
Nope. Not stunned at all. The curtains, however, are on fire.
oh,
Dirty 20.
Okay.
ooh,
24,
23.
25.
Ooh.
14.
This is probably the best I've ever rolled for initiative. Wow.
Okay. Lachlan, you got a 14.
Yep.
Do I have to roll for my twin?
No, your evil twin gets the same thing you do, a 25. Okay. As Aelin, and 14 is Lachlan. Gizik, what did you get?
Well, I keep rolling low, so I grabbed new dice to roll better, and I grabbed a new die, and it's a 4.
Okay. I think Gizik might be flustered by the feminine attention that he has received recently.
I don't necessarily have good past experience with witches, so...
the only time Gizik received affection from a witch was when she was about to cuff him over the head. So he has reason to be a little disturbed here. All right, Naughty Anduriel, you are over there with Morokhan. Morokhan, you are in square... we're going to put you in square 11F. Anduriel, you're in 14F. Evil Anduriel moves into square 12F, just one square away from good Anduriel. Aelin, you are in square... Gizik, where did you put yourself previously? You were heading towards...
I put myself in N16, just right next to that cage.
Okay. And Aelin, that would put you probably in L16, because you took a step towards Gizik. And Lachlan, you went for the chest, right?
Right.
The wooden chest, not, the any other. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Lachlan, we're going to put you in square 10N then. And Anduriel the Naughty, it is your turn first.
10. Okay.
You are in square 12F, Anduriel the Naughty, right next to Morokhan.
Hey, he's in 11F, right?
Yes, and the square behind Morokhan, 11E, is on fire.
Which square is the mirror?
The mirror is in square 13 and 14E.
Okay. Well,
So the mirror is right there.
I don't think it's a stretch to think that Evil Anduriel would want to attack Morokhan, so that's precisely what he will do.
Okay. What will he attack with?
He's gonna attack with Taste of Life.
Okay.
Melee basic is the correct answer.
No.
It's beating his darker aspects, and so he's gonna go straight vampire, straight Taste of Life.
Okay. Naughty Anduriel, or even more evil Anduriel, go ahead and make your attack roll versus what? His what?
Fortitude.
What's your fortitude, Morokhan?
18.
Okay.
Okay. So that is 18. Oh.
Okay. Okay.
I don't like where
that
this is going.
That is a solid hit. So I'm assuming that he is going to also bite him.
Yes, he would.
Gonna
Yeah.
get a mouthful of scales.
I think
I hope you choke. Okay, yeah, he does. Blood drinker. So that is, well, it's only 10 of damage.
in addition to the blood drinker 1d10.
No, that's. Oh, sorry. I didn't roll the right one for my blood drinker. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to roll damage for Taste of Life and damage for blood drinker, and then add your damage bonus.
No, he's fine. He's fine.
So I got. Okay. Oh.
No, that is not a good. That's not
It's
a good.
It's 17 then. It's 17.
All right, 17 points of damage. Describe for us what happens.
Okay, well, he is everything that is assuming. I'm assuming he's everything bad about Anduriel, like all his worst things. So,
Yep.
he turns and he sees the dragon and he smiles. Says, "Oh, hello, lizard. It's so good to see you. I can't wait. I cannot wait to do what Anduriel's been wanting to do this whole time. You are a constant reminder. You're actually quite useful to this group. You remind us all that it could always be worse. You could always be traveling in the company of some stupid zealot of Hermina. Thank you so much." And then he runs in and bites down on his neck.
Okay, there is a.
Oh boy.
I did not expect to run into a family feud.
Okay. That would be Evil Anduriel's turn. Does he want to do anything with his minor action?
No, he's evil. He's not particularly smart, I guess.
No. Okay. All right. Good Anduriel. It is your turn, or rather, slightly less evil Anduriel.
Okay, well, I think as a show of good faith, I should attack myself. Yeah. We're going to go with the Weapon of Divine Protection, the Leviathan's Tooth. It's against armor class, which my armor... This is weird having to look at my own stuff here. 14 against... Oh, I hit myself. I got 15.
Okay. Well, hold on a second there, Anduriel. Anduriel, you go rushing forward to attack you, and you find it very difficult to plunge a dagger into you. I'm going to need you to make a saving throw, please. You need a 10 on the 1d10.
1d10. I got an 8.
Lachlan, anything you can do about that, or anything you want to do about that?
Yes.
Yeah, he shouts out, "Hit him!" You get a +4 to the roll.
Okay, then I got...
Okay. Psychologically, you go to stab yourself, and you almost can't do it. And then you hear Lachlan kind of magically command you to hit him, and you're embarrassed for a minute, realizing you almost couldn't hit the enemy. You do make contact. How much damage do you do to you?
Okay, so 1d6. That is with my weapon attack damage. That is 12.
Okay. Are you going to keep track of your hit points of you and you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
How many do I start with the same amount, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just make sure you know which one's good you hit points and which one's bad you hit points.
I was going to say, are these two separate things, or is he like hurting himself as he hurts himself?
No, there are no mirror wounds appearing on Anduriel hitting Anduriel.
This is all getting very confusing.
Okay. However, this has now created a problem. Both Anduriels are now next to each other, which is making it difficult for you guys to figure out which one is which. You're going to need to make a perception check to be able to look at the blood on the mouth of one to be able to see which one is naughty.
And one has been stabbed with the Leviathan's tooth, so he's...
Yeah. So with a quick perception check, you will be able to do that on your turn. Moralcon, it's your turn, my friend.
Alrighty. Well,
this is your chance to take it all out.
Oh, don't you worry. It will happen. So,
he's using action points. He's dropping dailies. It's all.
So yeah, I will assume Fighting Fury stance.
Okay.
And so there's that. And then I am going to channel Divinity.
Okay.
So, wait, can I do that? Can I do 2 minor actions in one turn?
You can do 2 minor actions. What
Okay.
you do is you can use a move action to use a minor and a regular minor action.
Well, I'm not going to move.
One or an aura 2?
What?
Is that an aura 1 or an aura 2?
It's a burst 1.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then real Anduriel is safe.
Yes. That's okay. I haven't made the perception check yet.
All right.
But I'm going to channel Divinity anyway, because he is not happy.
Okay. Alrighty, Moralcon, Aelin, you've never seen this before. Moralcon, what do you say as you channel Divinity?
It's going to be rather imperceptible, but those that are perceptive enough is going to notice that I roared something in Draconic very angrily.
Aelin, do you speak Draconic?
You're muted.
I'm not sure. I'm checking if I speak Draconic.
I do not think so, but...
I don't think so. but also I can't find anything on these sheets.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
okay.
no, I do speak. I do speak Draconic.
Oh, you do. All right.
Yeah, cool.
So,
Draconic.
what do you shout out, Morrow?
Hamina, help me smite the face of this enemy so hard that he goes through the floor.
Very
Okay.
poetic. Very.
Okay. Very, very nice. Very beautiful. Okay, it's beautiful.
Real quick,
Nice,
sorry,
mate.
before he
Nice.
rolls his damage, doesn't the Leviathan's tooth knock me prone, right, and stick me in the ground, and like, does it have that effect, or does the magic being distorted?
You have to tell me that you're going to do it. You have to tell me that you're activating the magic item. It doesn't happen on every hit. It only happens once, and you have to decide
Oh.
when.
Okay, then it didn't happen.
So, nope. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So do I roll it now, or is
Nope.
it starting his turn?
That happens at the beginning of his turn.
That's
And
what I thought.
He's
Okay.
going to take some ugly damage. Okay, Moroccan, you still have your standard action, and you're
Yes, I do. So I am going to Eagle Claw Strike. What is his fortitude?
17.
17. So with that and my attack, that is a 17. Okay, good. All right, let's do this.
Yay.
Oh, sorry, I'm activating Stone Fist as well.
yeah. You said that.
Okay. Just making sure that everyone's on the same page that I'm going to be hitting really hard.
And the kitchen sink, it's coming too. Everything.
All right.
All right, so it's a 2d8, and I only have 1d8, so I'm rolling twice, and I roll a plus damage bonus is a 16. That'll do.
And did you add your stone fist damage?
Oh, I did not. And then that is also
22.
22. Yes.
All right. What does it look like as he uses Eagle Claw Strike on not so good Anduriel?
Okay. Well, here's this guy that just roared out a prayer and is now set himself alight. He's going to take a rear back and just really thrust that sucker into him.
Okay. All right. Moral Khan hits more solidly than any of you, because you've never seen him use this power before, would imagine. You hear a crack in not so good Anduriel's sternum as Moral Khan just kind of, shatters some of his bones in his rib cage. He is a dented mess, and the thud kind of reverberates throughout the tower. It's an ugly hit. Anything else you want to say, Moral Khan, before we move on?
Do I get another minor action?
You do not. You used your minor to use Fighting Fury. Did you add your Fighting Fury damage?
Oh my gosh, I did. So add another
25.
3 damage to that. Yes, so 25.
25 points of damage. Okay, Aelin, it is your turn.
I think I can get close to the mirror. I'm going to move 6 squares as close to the mirror as I can,
Okay.
and
That will put you in 15F or 14F. How close do you want to be to good Anduriel?
we'll go close to good Anduriel.
All right, so that'll put you in 14F. You are right
Yeah.
adjacent to him.
And
Okay.
I am going to take my my iron scar rod,
Okay.
and I'm going to throw it at the mirror.
Okay. All right, go ahead and make an attack roll if you would, please.
Yep. What am I adding to that?
Just whatever your attack is to your power. So I think
+2 to attack rolls on the weapon.
your melee basic is. Oh no, you're throwing it.
Yeah, I'm throwing it.
So it's a +2 total. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 21. I rolled a 19.
Okay, that's a hit. All right, roll your 1d4 damage.
4.
Okay. Aelin, you, with your standard action, chuck the the rod into the mirror, and a crack goes kind of right down the center of the mirror, and evil Anduriel lets out a horrible bellow and gets a kind of panicked look on his face that you can see so far. However, it doesn't seem to injure him. It just kind of really freaks him out. I'm going to need you, Aelin, also to make a perception check, please.
Okay. Okay, 10.
Okay. Aelin, you hear the beating of wings from behind you, but you have no clue what direction it's coming from.
Uh-oh.
It's
You
behind
just
you.
said behind her. You just said it was behind her.
Yes, but I mean, behind her is an entire tower floor. She's facing the mirror. For a minute, you look back, you're like, has the vampire sprouted bat wings? You're just kind of looking around, but you hear the flapping of wings behind you. I will tell you that they're not large wings. They sound tiny, but you recognize the sound. You've seen enough flying creatures.
Oh, boo.
So, anyway, you still have a minor action, Aelin. Would you like to curse Anduriel or Lachlan or anybody?
Was
Or
that
would you
with
like to...
with Warlock's curse or?
Yeah, you can use Warlock's Curse if you want to, or you can say something if you would like.
She'll say something and she'll turn to the rest and say, "Destroy the mirror."
Okay. All right.
I promise I will negate the bad luck you receive. You just need to destroy it.
Okay. All right. Should the orders you to destroy? Lachlan, it's your turn. Or turn, not turn.
Okay. I want to. I really want to attack Anduriel.
Everyone wants to take their shot now.
Okay.
Lachlan looks at the mirror,
Or
and then he's like, it's too juicy. So
Are you-
I need to make a perception check to make sure I target the right Anduriel. What's the DC?
The DC is only a 12.
Okay.
you mean you're not going to obey the pretty face?
I got a 19.
Okay.
He wants to, but it's like, ooh, when am I going to get this opportunity again?
Okay. Aelin, you catch that too, Aelin, as you tell that. Lachlan looks over at you and looks at Anduriel. He looks back at you and he's like, no.
So I'm
Okay,
going to cast
Sorry.
Blunder.
Fair.
I'm going to cast Blunder on Bad Anduriel.
Okay,
What's your will?
What's your will, Anduriel?
Oh, sorry. Like, well, what is it, DM? Come on. Sorry, my will is 16. His will is 16. Actually, 17.
Well, that's a 25. So
You got
he
me.
blundered.
You got it.
All right. What does it do?
So he's going to take 9 points of damage. And I'm going to slide him. You say in E10 there's a fire.
Yep.
I'm going to slide him into the fire.
That's right, neighborly of you. That's...
So does that slide him by Morocon?
Yes, and I'm going to let Morocon take a melee basic attack with a +3 to the attack roll.
And I too just like to hide all my mistakes behind a burning curtain.
That's a good plan. Okay.
Oh,
Bad Anduriel, you take 5 points of damage from being cut.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead?
He's
I
dead.
would say that
That did
Okay.
it.
Okay. So
Lachlan slid his dead carcass into the fire. Do I
Sure,
still
yeah,
get
but
to take a
that's-
swing at him?
Regular Anduriel's doing his best not to take all this personally. He's like, yeah, he's bad.
yeah. Okay. You actually can't take a swing at him because here's what happens. He is still Morocon in the light of your sun aura. And so as Lachlan blunders him into the fire, you look over and your sunlight burns him into ashes.
Good
And
riddance.
that is how he meets his untimely demise and end. And that is his turn. Very nice, Lachlan.
Satisfactory.
Okay. Anduriel, it's kind of sobering to watch yourself dissolve into ashes. And you get the idea that were you to be around Morokhan and die in his aura, the same thing could happen to you. So something to keep in mind there, my friend.
The 5-foot rule. Yep.
Yeah, 5 yeah. Personal space is a good thing, which is good. Okay, Gizik, my friend, it is your turn. Gizik, you also hear the flapping of wings. Please make a perception check.
All right. 31.
Okay.
Dang.
Okay, Gizik, you hear the flapping too. And you actually look down, Gizik, and see that some of the cages on the cabinets that are behind you have opened, and there are some creatures flapping away from you and near you. They're right next to you in front of you, but you can't see them.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like
Ruh-roh.
this.
Swing your claws wildly around.
Wave your hand in the air like you just don't care.
What would you like to do, Mr. Gizik?
Some dubstep starts playing.
Glow sticks appear.
Are my claws still long enough that they're touching the ground?
They are, but it's actually kind of a hindrance.
Does he have a 2-square reach now?
He actually could reach into a longer square, but he'd be suffering a -2 to attack if he doesn't do something about that little trim job he needs.
Lachlan, I need your nail clippers.
And your file and your personal deodorizer.
He needs my
need your manicure
longsword
kit.
for that.
Well, let's try and attack these invisible creatures.
Okay.
I'm going to break up into a swarm of, let's say it's wasps this time.
Okay.
Just kind of like buzzing around in the whole area within 3 squares of me, just kind of going
Okay.
crazy and attacking everything.
Okay.
Wait, you can do that?
Yes.
Okay. What does it target?
It targets fortitude.
Okay, their fortitude is only 11.
Okay, so I think I'll need at least a 3.
Okay.
I do have a penalty because they're invisible.
You have a -5, but this is a burst attack.
It's
so,
a blast, yeah.
Yeah, they're right in front of you. You're not going to suffer that -5.
Okay. How many are there?
There are 2. You need to make 2 attacks.
Okay.
Well, there are 2 near you, Gizik.
Oh, that's fine. Let's see. So 27 on the first one
That'll do.
and 23 on the second.
And that will hit also. Okay, roll damage, my friend.
Roll a crit. Roll a crit.
You don't roll crit
I
on
like
the
that.
damage, but
Well, you do if you roll max damage. That's
All the damage.
okay, yes, that's 9 damage. And I get
Okay.
to shift 4.
okay.
So I'm
All
gonna
right.
move over to J15 with that.
Okay. Gizik, they're pretty small, but you can tell that. What was it that you dissolved into?
Wasps.
All right. So, in a rather impressive display, Gizik dissolves into a swarm of wasps, and you actually can see, because of how big of a swarm he is, the outline of two tiny-sized creatures that are flying. You almost get like a bit of their humanoid shape in his cloud of wasps, and you hear screeches like just this horrible little nasty, almost like the red caps except tinier.
Oh, I'm allergic to wasps.
Yeah, and they don't like them. Okay, and that would be the Gizik's turn. Okay, it is their turn now, and they are ticked. Aelin, there is 2 behind you in 15F and 15F and 15G. 2 imps become visible, Aelin, as they attack you. What is your AC?
AC is 17.
17. Okay. They are both going to attack you. They need 11s to hit, 1 hit, and 2 hits, unfortunately. This is going to sting a bit. 8. Okay, so you take 20 points of stinging damage as 2 imps materialize behind you, and you take 2 counts of ongoing poison damage, 10, Aelin. So it is a good thing.
Jeez.
It's a good thing that you have as many hit points as you have, because this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
On the plus side, they have to recharge that to use it again. So
I've taken 20 now, and I'll take 10 on my turn.
You'll take 20 on your turn. You got
20,
poisoned twice.
Okay.
Holy cow.
All right. Gizik, the same thing happens to you. What is your AC?
17.
17. Okay. Where did I put the imp?
All right, Gizik, where are you again?
There you go.
I am just south of that big magic circle in the middle of the room. In
18.
Gizik, you take 1 hit,
J15.
and 1 miss. Gizik, you take 10 points of damage and ongoing poison damage 10.
That is
Save
not
ends.
good.
Where are the imps relative to Gizir?
Okay, there are 2 imps now visible in squares L15 and L16. That's imps 1 and 2. Imps 3 and 4 are right below Aelin in squares 15F and 15G. And Lachlan, guess what?
Pass.
There's that. Lachlan, another imp appears in your square in 11N. That's imp number 5. I'm just using numbers to keep track of them. What's your AC, Lachlan?
18.
Okay, it barely misses you. So little tail stinger comes in and it darts by you, and you just are barely able to bat it aside. The barb drags across your beautiful leather gloves that you bought handmade, stitched in Talispoon from the finest Talispoon leather workers, and you silently bless your mother for having functional taste and decorative taste. Anyway, so it glance off your glove, and that would be it for the nasty little imps. Back to the top. Good Anduriel.
Okay.
Good Anduriel, I would like to point something out to you.
Okay.
Moral Khan is 1 square away from you. You cannot move closer to him, because if you do, it's going to burn you.
Okay. No, I
Anduriel, move.
now that evil Anduriel is gone, ding dong, he is dead.
He's ashes.
I'm gonna attack the mirror. I'm actually gonna take the
Okay.
advice and attack the mirror because I don't want to see me again get killed.
Okay, make an attack roll, please.
That is a melee basic, right?
Yep.
22.
Okay. 22 is good enough. Roll damage, please.
Okay. That is for 11.
11. Okay. Aelin, the mirror cracks all the way kind of from the crack that you made down the center, and the mirror cracks and a fissure goes through it, and you feel the magic leak out of it. Aelin, you become distinctly aware of the fact that a wild magical surge has been released. Okay? On your turn, if you channel divinity, you think you could use Vana's power to alter the effects. Meaning that you could roll twice and you could choose between the two of them.
Okay.
So if you choose to, you can also choose to let the wild magic roll. It's up to you. That would certainly fall within the purview of your religion. So
where is Anduriel now?
Anduriel is right in front of the mirror in square 13F. Correct, Anduriel?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
right,
so he can't hit from there? Okay.
Yeah, he can hit it from there. The mirror is moving into the square in front of him. It's taking up that space.
Okay. Okay.
At least partially, it's taking up that space. So he's adjacent to the mirror for all intents and purposes. Anduriel, you also have a move action and a minor.
Okay, he is going to move 1, 2, 3. He's going to move over by Gizik and trying to move over by Gizik.
Okay.
And use healing word.
You got a problem, Anduriel.
Okay.
Aelin is bloodied.
Aelin, you're bloodied?
She's all kinds of bloodied.
Oh, dang it.
She has, in fact, Anduriel, you can smell her blood. She's been struck twice. Her blood is tainted right now by poison, so you can't drink it, but you could smear it all over yourself, and it sounds really good.
You could
No,
suck
Matt.
the poison out. That would be nice.
Okay, well, you could do that too.
Helpful.
So do I have to roll a save,
Yeah.
or is this just blood frenzy because I'm moving past her?
No, you need to make an endurance check, my friend, to see if you can even stand moving away from her.
Matt, this is not how we treat guests.
That's not my fault.
Sick the vampire on them. Thanks.
Hey, I'm not the one who chose to be a vampire. I did push you towards that choice, but you
Or
did.
drink the tainted blood.
Yeah, that's all you. GT.
Okay, so
I
that's
happen to know that the moth loves vampires, so I'm sure this would not be entirely unavailable. Am I right? Am I speaking out of turn, moth? Or
Oh, vampires are great fun.
yeah, see, so there's no.
all right. So then that's a 13 plus. Oh my gosh, because I use my highest modifier, huh?
Yep. Well, it's an endurance check, so you use half your level and your Constitution modifier.
Oh, I thought I was rolling the attack. Oh, thank goodness.
No. You've already used your standard action. But if you don't make your endurance check, you can't move away from her, and you're gonna have to attack her on your next turn.
That's only a 14.
Okay. Do you still have the sheet that I gave you that describes? Okay. What's the DC?
It doesn't have it on here. Sorry.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
No, DC is 1. Oh no, it looks like you passed.
Oh, I missed. Darn it.
I actually think that. You give me 2 seconds to look up the document. I actually
Yeah,
think
sorry.
the DC is 14.
I like Moth's idea better.
Of one.
Yes.
There we go.
If
Okay.
he does this, he's going to be like, look away. Ah.
I'm not sure what difference it will make, but
Well, yeah.
I'm sure
Just
the
shuffle
20
past, like-
Okay.
poison damage.
All right. For this round, you are able to resist staying near her. You can actually move.
Okay, so what is the AC on that?
The DC on that, the first one's 14.
14, okay.
The first one.
Oh, dude.
So you are all right, and Aelin, you are aware of this. He takes one look at you, like dripping with blood, and his fangs lengthen, and he's like, he looks like an addict. He's like, I just need one of these. I just need one of these. Like, it just,
Always looking for that next hit.
yeah.
I can stop anytime I want. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Exactly. Okay.
Like Bilbo reaching for the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't actually move. I don't actually move closer to
We
Gizzard.
want it. We want it.
Yeah. You can move anywhere you want, Enduriel. You made your endurance check.
Okay, cool. So I am going to move over by Gizik and use healing word.
Okay. You're going to move to square 16K.
Well,
You want to be 14K.
it's a burst 5. I'm feeling a little shaky. I don't want to be too close to somebody right now because that freaked me out. Like,
Okay.
how
Well,
did I
it's-
almost lose control? I've spent centuries like getting control, so this is really strange. So I'm going to go I-14.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah, it's a burst 5, so I'll catch him.
Yep. You'll catch him.
Target spends surge plus 1d6, Jeffrey.
All right. You roll the 1d6, Enduriel, because it's your spell.
I roll it because my. Sorry, you should have rolled it. It's a 1. So a surge plus 1.
Okay. Enduriel, I will also tell you that the shadow briefly seems to resist your call.
Oh.
You are able to exert your will to extend the healing energy, but as you call out to the shadow to heal him, it pushes against you for a minute, and then it goes. So, but it's noticeable. But I mean, you could be constipated. You're not. I mean, it could have been nothing. I mean, just
I need some of that yogurt that Jamie Lee Curtis sells, I guess.
yeah, just a little shadow constipation. It happens.
It happens to everybody.
Okay.
So then, yeah, so the shadow comes up over Gizik and just sort of is a little cocoon of shadow healing, and then it melts away.
Okay. Very good, Gizik. Congratulations, Moralcon. It's your turn, my friend.
Alrighty. I am going to move 1 square down so that I can. Will that allow me to strike that mirror?
The mirror has been cracked. The magic has drained out of it. If you want to, you can do further damage to it. But at this point, the magic has drained out of it. In fact, the magic is kind of like buzzing around the room a little bit.
Okay. Then I will. Let's see here. I'm going to go toward Lachlan.
Okay.
I'm going to move to M12.
Okay. So you're going to have to take the run action to do that.
That's okay.
All right.
It
Are
puts
you,
that imp in my aura.
Yes, it does. Are you going to use a minor action and sustain your sunlight aura?
Absolutely.
All right. So you only have your standard left. You're going to make a melee basic, or do you have anything you can charge with?
I am. Can I actually do an at-will attack, or does it have to be a melee basic?
No, if you're going to run, you can do an at-will attack. But if you're going to charge, you won't take a penalty to attack.
Okay.
Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. Charging gives you an extra square of movement.
You can take it. It doesn't. It gives you just your move.
All right. So unfortunately, you have to run and take a -5 to attack, but you can use an at-will.
Well,
Okay.
you get to move your speed with the charge, so you can do a
With
move
the charge,
action and then
yeah.
a charge, which would be like. So,
So
if you can move 6, you can move
yeah, you
6
can
and then
charge-
charge another 6.
Yeah.
Right.
You can move and charge with no penalty to attack, or you can move and run and use an at-will, but take a -5. It's up to you.
Okay. Well, then I will. I just need the one more square.
It's true.
Can I do an athletics check instead?
No, there's nothing for you to leap off of. You would just be like gummy bearing your way across the. It would be cute. I mean, I'd love to see you do it, but
Okay. Well, I'll do that so I can get the so I can do an at-will attack.
okay.
What's my penalty?
Well, for you, it would have an AC of 21 now.
Okay.
So you need
All
a
right,
six.
let's
You need a 16 on the die to hit it.
Jeez.
Big money. Big money.
Oh, 19. Let's do this.
Okay, congratulations. You hit. Which at-will are you using, my friend?
I am using Brand of the Sun.
Oh, that's a cleric attack. You have a +8 with that. You didn't need that high, but go ahead.
Well, that is with the +8.
Oh, fantabulous. All right, go for it.
Okay. And I roll a 7, so it is actually... I don't get to use Stone Fist with cleric attacks, do I?
No, you don't, unfortunately.
Oh, bummer. Okay, well, then it's just a 13.
Okay. Well, 13 damage is still good enough. And one ally... Go ahead.
I was going to say, and Lachlan doesn't have any ill effects on anything, but I am going to throw that to Anduriel to be able to make a saving throw, because he's within 5 squares of me.
Does Anduriel need to make a saving throw?
He will when he does an endurance check, doesn't he?
Why don't you throw it to Aelin, who's making 2 saves against poison?
She's too far away from
Can't
me.
be trusted.
Because she's too far away from me. Well, then I'll throw it to Gizik then.
Garrett Gizik, go ahead and make a free saving throw.
4.
You're so good.
Okay.
Hey, the last 3 rolls on that die have been 19s, so...
All right. Moralcon continues radiating his sun energy. Remind me, Moralcon, when the imps have their turn to take off that damage, because he's a burn-in in your aura. Okay, Moralcon, you come over, and your fist glows radiant and bright like the sun, and you swat that little imp so hard he goes like, "Eh!" and goes spinning in the air, tumbling upside down. He does manage to right himself and come back at you or Lachlan, but just barely. Aelin, it is your turn.
Sorry, Aelin, I would have thrown it to you, but you're clear on the other side of the room now.
Aelin, you take 20 points of poison damage. You are down to 9 HP.
Okay.
Well, I gotta give Lachlan a chance to revive the new one.
As my standard action, I think I will use Gaze of Defiance.
Okay. All right, go ahead and make an at-will check or an at-will attack versus the imp. Its will is only 13. You need a 6.
Okay. So that's going to be 6 plus 7 is 13.
Okay, that's more than enough. Go ahead and roll the 1d8 for damage.
Then I'm adding +5.
Yes, you are.
Oh, 7 plus 5 is
12.
There you go.
Maths.
There you go.
All right.
All right, Aelin, what does it look like when you use Gaze of Defiance?
So she's grasping at her wounds as she's starting to bleed out and just looks daggers at these imps, and her eyes just seem to get even blacker somehow, and it's almost like these swirling vortexes of void.
Very creepy. So
Like this.
yeah, she's real. Okay. All right. So all she does is look up at these things, and her eyes swirl with those black vortexes, and then wounds begin to appear all over the imp's body, and it's like, and its blood squirts out, black little crackling energy goes over it, and the rest of you will now get a +1 to attack the target until the end of her next turn. If you attack before the end of her next turn, you will get a +3 to the attack. So if your next turn is to go for the imp that she went for, you have a +3 to your attacks. It is caught up in the wake of her spell. Aelin, would you like to use Healing Word on yourself with your minor action?
Yes, I will be.
Okay. Aelin, you get what is your surge value? Find it. Madness here.
My it's 12.
No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is 12.
Oh,
See, 12 and then roll the 1d6.
5.
5. Okay, so you gain back a lovely 17 hit points, which brings you up to 26.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yes, and Aelin, you can make 2 saving throws to shake off the poison. You need a 10 on the 1d20.
What is that? Constitution?
No, it's just a saving throw in 4th edition. Is just you need 10 or higher on the 1d20.
Okay.
That's all you gotta do.
I think the 18 will pass.
That was so 1 count of the poison is gone. Roll another one for the 2nd sting.
Okay. 15.
Beautiful. So, Aelin, you managed to shake off the effects of the poison. I would like to ask you: do you want to use your tiefling power of is it Infernal Wrath when these things hit you retroactively?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, let's assume that you do it on the one that that you also used Gaze of Defiance on, or would you like to use it on the other one?
Use it on the other one.
Okay, because they both hit you. All right, so fire. What does this fire look like as it comes off of her?
The fire, it starts off just looking like white, hot fire, but then goes into blues, and then almost black. You think it might be an illusion, then you blink and it's just white and blue.
Okay. That also pushes number 3 into square 16F. So this thing stings her, and then fire. Where does it erupt from? Just her skin, her eyes, her hand? Where does it come from?
Just everywhere.
Everywhere. She explodes in fire, and this thing is like, ah! And it's not a demon. It doesn't have resistance to fire. It's a devil. So this is very unpleasant, and it bats at the flames and shrieks up and down. Either one of these imps that you have damaged look like one more hit, and you could take them down. Now, Aelin, you could use your action point if you wanted. You still have a move action also if you want to try to shift away or anything. You could Warlock's Curse with your move. You could also use Fiendish Resilience and grant yourself temporary hit points.
Decisions are hard.
They are.
Yeah,
Duriel, I'm not the only one that bursts into flames.
Yeah, but hers is cooler.
I'm going to give myself some extra hit points with Fiendish Resilience, so that will be 5. So I'll get 8 hit points.
Okay, so technically you get 8 more hit points. You can keep track of them separately or just add it to the total, whatever. So Fiendish. Now, would you? You also are very keenly aware of the wild magic that is flowing all over the room. If you use your action point, you get another standard action, or you can hold on to it. It's up to you.
With my action point, could I channel divinity?
Yep, if you want to. An action point is an extra standard action. You can do any of your normal actions, any attack, anything at all. Entirely up to you.
I might just let the wild magic do its thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The wild magic is going to do its thing at the end of the round. Then, Aelin, you watch the magic kind of flowing around, and you just decide, let it ride, and see what happens. After all,
rides it out.
It was Anduriel that triggered it. So, Lachlan, it's not your problem. Lachlan, it's your turn.
Okay, so who's hurt?
Aelin is hurt. Gizik is hurt. Anduriel, are you hurt?
No, just my feelings.
Just your feelings. Just.
I'm
Who
hurt.
knows?
What's a feeling?
Yeah,
They're buried in there, but they're there.
they're there.
Feelings.
Lachlan?
Everybody's so far away. And
I'm 2 squares away from you.
Are you hurt?
Yeah, I have 19 hit points at the moment.
Okay.
And
Well,
remember?
we'll throw a majestic word your way.
Okay.
You get to spend a surge and regain an additional 4 hit points, and I'm going to slide you 1 square into 12N.
All right, now you are flanking with Lachlan, Moralcon, flanking this
And
poor
I want him to shimmy a little bit over, like those pants. With those pants, I'm picturing MC Hammer. He's gonna MC Hammer over.
Okay. Alrighty. So,
The healing word is
Moralcon,
can't touch this.
yeah, Moralcon, you find yourself dancing in a rather disturbing manner, and yet it happens. So, things to keep in mind. Okay. All right, and
I'm gonna virtuous strike this imp. What's his AC?
Okay. 16.
All right, that's a hit. It's radiant damage. Does that do anything extra?
To him, no, he's not vulnerable to radiant. Anduriel is, but
Okay. So that's 11 radiant damage.
okay.
So he just does a little flourish and like what's that move called? A backswing? Yeah.
Yeah, backswing.
Back across and tries to take off a wing.
Okay. Aelin, you notice Lachlan has just absolutely exquisite form as he uses his sword. It's not necessarily efficient or necessary, but boy, is it attractive as he's like, it looks like stage combat. You're like, wow, that was fancy. But he does manage to connect with one of the imp's wings and he almost lops it off. Anyway, it's noticeable, his fighting style. Not necessarily respectable, but noticeable.
He spends hours a day practicing his flourishes.
I'm sure he does.
The attacks
and
don't really matter, but those flourishes, they need to be just spot on.
And moisturizing.
Does he do this flourish while making eye contact with her
No, I'm focused on the
and
imp.
looking away?
Yeah, he's more.
Okay, that imp is on death's door. If somebody pees on him, he's gonna die. I mean, sepsis infection. It's just.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, I wanted to use Mocking Smite. It's free. It's free when I hit with a
Okay.
weapon.
Do it.
So he takes 5 points of psychic damage.
That is exactly what you need to kill him. The little imp explodes. What do you say as you mock him?
Well, it's psychic and radiant, and he just says, "Take that, fiend!"
Okay.
Because he's trying. I'm telling you, he tries to backhand this thing away.
He goes, "Have at you!" Oh, and this little imp explodes all over Morocon. Not on you because your magic protects you from that. But Morocon, you're covered in imp goo, and number 5 is now off the board. Okay,
It'll burn off.
And with my move, I want to move to I-12
Okay.
carefully around the Sunny Boy here.
Okay, Lachlan.
He's MC Hammer his way past me.
Okay. There we go. That is Lachlan's turn. Gizik, it's your turn, my friend.
All right. A large phantom wolf kind of superimposes itself over me, and the wolf and I attack out. I'm lashing and biting and clawing at the imps around me with a savage frenzy.
Get them. Their AC is 16.
It's versus reflex.
Oh, their reflex is 16 also.
Miss and... Alright, I want to kill these dice.
Oh no!
Oh, snake eyes.
You rolled double ones?
I rolled double ones.
Oh,
Such a cool power.
that's so embarrassing.
Alright, let me roll my damage because I still get half.
It's performance anxiety.
Is your
Yeah,
power
so
rolling
instead of-
double ones?
Yes.
Alright, so that is... After cutting it in half, that's 4 damage, and they are slowed.
Okay.
So instead of turning into a wolf and doing damage, he turns into a wolf and starts scratching his ear.
No, it's like a chihuahua. He goes for the wolf, and it's a chihuahua.
Okay. All
The
right.
poor kid alone.
All right. So Gizik, you turn, you get this superimposed wolf on you. You start biting and snatching, and you just kind of lose yourself in the frenzy of the animal power that you summon. And the imps are they're just dodging around you, but you still manage to like step on one with your oversized claw and smash him into the ground. He wriggles out from under your hand, but you're like, and the other one you back fist and you hit him with your long claws and just cut into him a little bit. Now it is the imp's turn, and they don't really like you, but they're all going to attack. All of the imps turn invisible, and they are heading for the hills. So everyone who is adjacent to one of these bad boys can make a free attack. Aelin, will start with you. Number 4 flies away from you. You can make a free melee basic attack.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing that.
Just kill it, please.
24.
24 is a hit. Go for it. Roll your damage.
Oh, that's max damage, so 8 plus 2.
Okay. So you squash it, and it falls on the floor, invisible in front of you, in a little imply mess on the floor. Squish, squish, yucky.
And she's just gonna put her foot over the top and grind the heel in.
Oh. Okay. She grinds the imp into the floor. All right. Gizik, both of them fly away from you. You can make a melee basic.
Okay.
Roll
That
higher
is
time.
12.
A 12. Okay. A 12, unfortunately, my friend, is going to be a solid miss. So it's those two big claws. You need Lachlan's nail clippers. They're just unwielding. They're difficult to manage. You swing and quite miss.
Did the wild magic go off?
No, the round hasn't ended yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that would be the end of the imp's turn and the end of the round. The wild magic begins to settle. Aelin, would you please roll on the wild magic table that I sent you one time?
Gotta find where that is. Okay, let's have a look. Ah, there it is. All right. Oh, just 30. So, is this affecting me or someone else?
That's yet to be determined. It doesn't change what you roll, does it?
I mean, it affects someone.
It does affect someone. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I guess it would affect who actually released the surge.
What'd you get?
It was a 30.
What's a 30 on the percentile?
That's you turn into a potted plant until the start of your next turn.
Okay, here we go. The 1 die 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6 means I get to choose.
Oh.
Okay. I've decided that Vana is going to be capricious. And let's see, who would Vana want to turn into a potted plant? Not her priestess.
Is it the one who enjoys a bit of sunlight?
I think it would be, but here's the deal. Naylock is also a deity of shadow and darkness. So Naylock is kind of more along Vana's lines. However, I think she'd love the chance to stick it to Sindel, the goddess of love. So, Hemina might be an irritant, but, witches also revere the moon, right? So I think she's going to go for Sindel, frou-frou, priest of love. Lachlan turns into a potted plant in front of all of you. Just, like, and what is that flower? What if Lachlan were to turn into a flower? What would it look like?
Something audacious.
All right, an orchid then. Okay. So Lachlan turns into a potted plant. It lasts for, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 seconds. How do you guys react?
Oh, well, I'm surprised it's not a narcissus.
Cutting words from the Vonite priestess.
Like, well, I've always said he peddled in manure, and now he's actually planted in it.
All right. Any other reaction?
Just
I mean, the day's been crazy. I don't know if we're all like, what?
Okay. All right. Few seconds go by, and Lachlan, he reforms right in front of everybody.
Am I aware of what I turned into?
You are absolutely aware of what you turned into. You know that you changed shape. You couldn't really look at yourself because you didn't have eyes, but you could feel that you were kind of a growing plant-like creature. So that's about all you had. But you transform, the magic settles, and then it scatters, and boom, you're on the floor on all fours. Like,
He just says, looks up at Anduriel. What was I?
Don't worry, Bard, you were fabulous.
Beautiful.
As usual. Stands up.
And quiet for once.
okay.
were you a flower?
Okay, so a few of the imps managed to get away, and you are not quite sure where they have gotten to, but you're reasonably sure they either flew out of the hatch or out of the window behind the curtain or down the stone steps. So there are three places that they could have gone, but they scatter. And you are left there with Aelin. And everybody's a bit wounded.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, and Duriel's just going to kind of go over and I don't know if you can be trusted or not, but you've acquitted yourself nicely today.
She's just going to start wiping her shoe on the carpet.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
I mean, who's to say that you can be entirely trusted? Don't play coy. I saw your fangs then.
Bark,
She's got a
bite,
bunch
I've
right
got
there.
everything.
But
Would
no,
you mind telling us why you're here? We are very aware. You're very aware of why we're here. What are you doing here?
well, part of it was the display you saw just then. There are the powers of Hellfire and Asmodeus come down upon this city. Well, town is not a city.
Okay, this is the first time that you've heard Asmodeus's name being mentioned. I won't even make you guys make a knowledge religion check. Asmodeus is the god of the nine hells. He's not an archdevil. He is actually a god.
He is the devil.
He is the devil, right? Asmodeus is the one who has the power to elevate creatures to become archdevils. But this is the first time you've heard his name mentioned as she tells you that he's run amok.
We've come across an archdevil, haven't we?
Well, you know of one, but she hasn't mentioned him.
Trying to find out what his name was.
His name is Navariel.
Okay.
Right.
That stranger should bring that name up. Have you heard of?
Navariel.
Nefariel.
Yeah.
Have I heard of Navario?
Make a knowledge religion check, please.
Okay, it's going to be a 13 plus...
Oh, that's more than enough.
Yeah,
So
22.
you have heard of Navariel in your studies. It's quite the bit of occult lore. Navariel is the fallen archangel of pride. So he's not necessarily an archdevil, but he is a fallen archangel. Extremely powerful. He was a servant of the gods who ruled over Ienia before Vana and her kin claimed ownership of the world. So it's an alarming thing, and Dark Mother Magra would certainly want to know if he was involved.
Well, that would be rather concerning if he was involved. It bears more investigation. I'm also neither here nor there looking for a bit of literature. The hellfire would be the primary concern. The book is an added bonus.
The book?
A book.
All right, so she just let something slip. Just, FYI.
She did say a bit of literature.
It seems you've traveled quite a ways for a bit of literature.
Well, I'm an avid reader.
I can respect that. Typically, when I take an interest in something like that, it has to do with the fact that said item contains quite a bit of power. Would that be the case with this book?
Oh, I just want to keep it out of the hands of foolish men.
Kate, just as she says that, a foolish man comes walking up the stairs.
Lachlan was already there.
Okay, no. Okay. All right. So coming up the stairs is a man in a dark, rich purple robe, with arcane symbols sewn into the edge in gold thread, and he has a heavy bloodstone amulet, kind of like Strahd wears, around his neck. He just comes running up the stairs, and he looks at all of you, and he's like, "Oh!"
I am going to use one of my powers.
Okay.
And use Shadow of the Black Cloak.
Okay. All right. So Shadow of the Black Cloak, describe what happens.
So as she hears the sound of someone running up the stairs, she picks up the edge of her cloak and just drapes it in front of her face, and with a twirl, she's gone.
All right. So she dissipates into shadow under her cloak. Poof.
Nice.
Out of there. And that is where we are going to have to leave it for tonight.
Fancy.
She has left the rest of you to negotiate with this gentleman as she vanishes and is gone.
So I didn't say I was leaving.
Yeah, she didn't. No, she didn't say she was leaving. But she has left you alone, and that is where we will conclude for the evening. That was a great session. So thank you for everyone. We do like to end on an inspirational thought at the end of Holy Rollerz. I actually had a discussion with Scarlet Moth about this. This is something that she and I feel passionate about, and it's something that we've both spoken of intensely, because we've both had wonderful experiences in the D&D community. It can be an accepting place. It can be a very loving place. It certainly is an enormous hodgepodge of creativity. But we've both also had some negative experiences, depending on who we've interacted with. And the thought for tonight, the consider this for tonight, is really all about the idea of giving people second chances. I think what happens is we sometimes have negative experiences with people, and then we otherize them, or they become this like almost like a non-human entity to us. And it's easy to do, because when somebody wrongs you or somebody crosses you, it feels very much like, like an attack on you. I mean, you can't understand, like, why would someone treat you like that? It's been difficult experiencing those things. But I think the important thing to remember is, even if we have one of those experiences with people are worth second chances. People are, there's nothing. I used to say this all the time when I was an Elders Quorum president over my church congregation. There is no investment that you can make that's more important than an investment in other people. And people are going to make mistakes. And if we want to be allowed to change, I think it's important that we let other people change and grow also, and I'll allow for the fact that just because they made a mistake, even if they think we're the ones who made a mistake, it doesn't mean that they're not people, and it doesn't mean we shouldn't give them a second chance.
And I think mistakes are very important as well, because without mistakes, how do you learn and how do you grow?
Agreed. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add, or anything else you want to say, Mal?
I think that, well, to me, something that's always been important to me is forgiveness. I mean, obviously there are some things which are unforgivable, but for the most part, forgiveness is something which I hold very dear, and I see as it's very important to me. And even when people have wronged me, or if I've wronged people, or there's something which has gone awry, I feel like being able to forgive others and forgive yourself and move on from something is very important, because that's how you grow.
I agree. Anybody else?
Always thought an inability to forgive people sort of puts a dam between the progress you can make as a person. Like, you can't achieve what you're going to ultimately want to be in life if you can't forgive people, and that includes yourself. And so when you're talking about second chances, I think it's important to say, yes, other people deserve second chances, but so do you. Like, you know, you've got to be able to forgive yourself, and then move on, so that you can learn from the things that you've made mistakes doing.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
To echo and add on to that, yeah, I mean, forgiveness isn't something that you grace another person that may have wronged you, whether they have or perceive to. Forgiveness is something that affects you. It's a personal thing. It's something that you need to get past, because everyone's going to mess up. Everyone's going to screw up, and including yourself. And you owe it to yourself to be able to look past that mistake and see them as a person.
I like it. Ryan, Jeff, anything you want to add? Or
Yeah, I think often when there's a conflict between two people, like, you don't necessarily see what you've done wrong, and you kind of justify it to yourself. And if you can forgive the other person, they might, you might be needing that forgiveness just as much as them in that conflict.
Yeah.
Cool. Ryan, anything you wanted to add? You feel like it's been said?
Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Don't turn people into potted plants.
Yeah.
Well, that's just fun.
Yeah, that is fun. That could have gone a lot worse. Yeah. Another thing that I think is important to mention is, while we're offering forgiveness and humanizing people and not otherizing them, Scarlett and I are pretty good friends at this point, but we have very different points of view on so many things. Like, we look at things different. There are times when she's, we've been discussing something and she's like, no, she doesn't agree with me, and she's not afraid to tell me, which is fine. And yet we're still able to sit here at the D&D table, have a great time, and enjoy each other's company, and say we might not agree on everything, but we can agree with how much the other person matters, right? And how important. So
We're very different people, but at the end of the day, that shouldn't matter, because you should still be able to love and respect others.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that is our consider this. So anything you want to add, Ben? Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying it's universal.
Yeah.
We're all people.
Okay. Well, for those of you who joined us, thank you for joining us. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel so we can do that giveaway. Subscribe to the subreddit. We would love to hear from you. And thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.